This video reviews compound sentences, what they are, how they're formed, and what they do. First, let's review simple sentences. A simple sentence contains a subject and a verb. It expresses a complete idea and as a result can stand alone, and it has meaning. A simple sentence is what we also call an independent clause. So when I say clause, I mean some form of sentence. In this example, this is a simple sentence. Here's my subject and my verb, and it's a simple sentence because it has meaning, it stands alone, okay? I don't need anything else for it to make sense. So, a compound sentence is two or more of those simple sentences or independent clauses put together, and they express a relationship between those two ideas. And the relationships that can be expressed are cause-effect, contrast, addition of information, time, emphasis, and example. There are two ways that we can actually make a compound sentence, and that's what we're going to look at today. First is the comma and coordinating conjunction, and FANBOYS is an acronym to help you remember them, and they express the following relationships. For cause-effect and addition of information, nor and not either option, but is contrast, or is either option, yet is contrast, and so is cause and effect. Let's take a look at what that actually looks like though. Alright, in this example of for, we have our subjects and our verbs, and in compound sentences, because we have two independent clauses put together, we're going to have two separate subjects and two separate verbs, okay? That's very important. And here I'm using the coordinating conjunction for to express reason. So why did they go to look at the autumn leaves? The reason is the colors are spectacular this season. Here's my cause, here's my effect. All right, let's take a look at and. Again, we have two subjects and two verbs. And this is an addition of information. So what else did they do in addition to looking at the autumn leaves? Well, they also picked apples. Nor is a little bit special because it implies a negative relationship. And so not only did they not look at the leaves, but they did not pick apples. But notice how in my second independent clause, I have did, which is positive. Well, when I add in nor, think of the n in nor as negative. So it takes that did not, we drop the not, and add that to or, and it becomes nor. So if I took the two of these sentences apart, it would say, they didn't go look at the leaves, they didn't pick apples, okay? Also notice that my subject and verb are switched in the second clause as well. I don't say, nor they did pick apples, I say, nor did they pick apples. So nor is a little special because we switch a couple things around in the second clause. All right. With but, I am showing contrast. Again, two subjects, two verbs. And here, they went to look at the leaves, but a storm ruined the trip. So they weren't able to actually look at the leaves. So it's contrasting the two ideas. Or is showing me option. Again, two subjects, two verbs. And my option is to drive through the countryside or walk around the pond. Yet is also contrast, and again, two subjects and two verbs. And here my ideas that are being contrasted are a terrible thunderstorm began, yet they went to look at the autumn leaves. So it's kind of like despite the fact that there was a thunderstorm, they went to look at the leaves. It's contrasting because you wouldn't think that you would go look at autumn leaves in the middle of a thunderstorm. At least I wouldn't. And then we have so, which is cause-effect. Again, two subjects and two verbs, very important. And the cause here is that a terrible thunderstorm began. The result of that, they did not go look at the autumn leaves. All right, our second option for combining two independent clauses together into a compound sentence is to use a semicolon and conjunctive adverb. Here are some examples and what they do. Similar categories again, but a little different words. and how they're used. So let's take a look at how these are actually used. All right, so again, I am going to have two subjects and two verbs. Notice I have my semicolon and my conjunctive adverb, thus. Thus is a cause-effect relationship word. And the relationship here is that the cause is Rochester doesn't have good public transportation. As a result, the effect is it is difficult for international students to commute. Okay. My next example, again, I have two subjects and two verbs. My semicolon and my conjunctive adverb is in addition. So I'm adding extra information. And the idea that I'm expanding is the fact that students have trouble with culture shock. And I'm adding to that by saying they have to adjust to a cold climate and unfamiliar food. So in order to explain how they're having trouble with culture shock. In my next example, again, I have two subjects and two verbs, and my semicolon and conjunctive adverb, however, to show contrast. And the idea that is being contrasted is RIT has a lot of clubs and activities on campus. So you would think that, people would join them, right? Wrong. International students often feel uncomfortable and afraid to join. So two contrasting ideas here. The next one is emphasizing an idea. Again, I have two subjects, two verbs. Here's my semicolon and my conjunctive adverb, in fact. And in fact is emphasizing an idea. The idea that is being emphasized is the fact that RIT students come from more than 70 countries. To emphasize or stress this idea, I go on to say that international students make up 35% of our full-time graduate student population. Okay, so I'm kind of emphasizing that this is a true fact. And our final example is using the conjunctive adverb for example. So again, two subjects, two verbs, my semicolon, and I'm exemplifying an idea in order to explain it in more detail. And the idea that is being exemplified is the fact that there are international students at RIT from all over the world. In order to explain that further, I give examples of some of the countries that the students are from. All right, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe below for more information and to be notified when new content is uploaded.